So today we are joined, I got a thumbs up from Jerome, thumbs up back to you. Uh, Today we are joined by volunteer Sean, who's going to show us how to make ice cream. So I'll let him explain a couple of materials that you will need to collect so we can make some delicious food.
Hi guys, I'm Sean. I'm a student at Cornell and I'll be leading this activity with you guys to make some ice cream. Who's excited?
I see a couple thumbs up and hands. Liam
Awesome,
Green is very excited.
awesome. All right, so before we start, I'm going to go through what you guys will need for this activity. Um, so I believe that the Facebook should have had some of the materials listed, but I'll go through it again. You guys will need some sugar. You guys do not need this giant tub, but some sugar you'll need. You'll need some milk. You will need some half and half. You will need some vanilla extract. And you'll need some salt. Two more things. You will also need a quart-sized Ziploc bag. And you will also need a pint-sized or a sandwich bag, basically. So make sure you have all of that. And we should be good to go. So let's get started. I hope everyone has all the materials they need. So we will start with the small baggie. The sandwich bag is sort of going to be where you put all your main ingredients for your ice cream. Pull this out. First thing I want everyone to put in is a tablespoon of sugar. So I hope you have something like this. Just scoop up a tablespoon of sugar, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Pour it right on in, just like that. All right, everyone good? Okay. Once you get that tablespoon of sugar ready, we want 2 tablespoons of milk. So I'm going to get my jug of milk here. So you want 2 tablespoons of this. All right, so that's 1. That's 2 tablespoons right there. Yeah, so you should see it sloshing all around a little. That's okay. All right, see that some of you guys are done. Give you a few more seconds here. If you're done, you can move on to adding 2 tablespoons of half and half, which I have right here. So just get another 2 tablespoons of that. So just pour it right on in. Just like that. I'll give everyone a few seconds here. All right, so next step, I say we got the hardest part out of the way. Next step, I want you guys to add about 1 or 2 drops of vanilla extract I have right here. Make sure you add just a little bit. A little goes a long way here. If you have a proper measuring cup for a 1/16 of a teaspoon, you can use that. But I like to just drop just a few drops right there, and that's more than enough.
So Sean, we have a question of, could we use chocolate syrup instead of vanilla extract?
Yep. You can use chocolate syrup instead. I do not like chocolate syrup as much, so I don't have some, but you can definitely use that instead of vanilla. I would make sure you don't use too much. With the chocolate syrup, I probably use about a tablespoon most, considering that this recipe calls for just a little bit of ice cream. But yeah. So once you're done with that, I want you guys to close this baggie up nice and tight. All right. Once you guys are done closing that up, I want you guys to put that baggie aside, and now we're going to start with this bigger baggie. So open this bigger baggie up, the quart size or whatever size you have. Should be bigger than your sandwich bag or pint size bag here. And in this bag, I want you guys to put in about 1 cup to 2 cups of ice. I have it pre-prepared here, but it's about this much, I'd say. You don't have to fill it up all the way, but there should be enough so that you can see right there, that's our ice cream ingredients. Just enough so that that part of the little Ziploc bag can be covered up by the ice. And once you are done pouring all that ice into your baggie, yep, just like that, Philip. I want you to open it up. And I want you guys to get 2 tablespoons of salt in there. Now you won't be eating the salt or this ice, so it doesn't really matter how much salt you add, but make sure you add more than 2 tablespoons here. So I'm just gonna pour it right on in. Don't worry about spreading the salt out or anything. We'll do that in a bit. So get 2 tablespoons in there. All right. So we got the ice and the salt in here.
So Sean, just to ask, why is the salt important?
Okay, that's a great question, actually, and that's the salt is really the secret ingredient here. So the salt allows the ice to melt. However, the ice still remains at freezing temperature, and by making the ice into a liquid, there's more. Basically, there's more in contact with your ice cream ingredients. This will make more sense once we put it in. So I want you guys to put the ice cream ingredients right inside the baggie. Just like that. And Vivian, what I just said, it'll become clear once we finish this right here. I want you guys to close the Ziploc bag up with the ice cream inside and just shake it around, move it around. Yep, and it'll start getting really cold. So what's happening is that the ice is melting, but remaining the same temperature. And so there's more substance in contact with both your skin, your hand here, and the ice cream. And so what that does is that it speeds up how fast your ice cream is going to start solidifying. I like to shake it up a lot. It takes a few minutes here. And slowly you should start seeing your ice cream ingredients getting a little harder. So you can still see mine, it's still a little liquid. So I'm gonna keep shaking this up. It's okay to open your Ziploc bag to check how your ice cream is doing too. That won't affect the process too much. So I'm gonna take a look at mine here. Oh, yeah, and I have some ice cream right here. Be careful, your bag is gonna be pretty wet. It's gonna be very salty because of all the salt you added. And if yours is still a little too liquid for you, you can keep shaking it up and it will get harder. All right, who's ready to eat some ice cream? All right, everyone get a spoon and start eating your ice cream if you're ready.
How did everyone's ice cream turn out? Those of you who made some today, did it turn out really good? Are you still working? I see a lot. I see Philip is still shaking his bag. Liam's camera, your family, you're all shaking some bags. So maybe they're still a little too liquidy for you, but you can keep working.
Yeah, it takes a lot of shaking.
Awesome. Does anyone have any more questions about how this worked, or any comments you want to make about how it worked for you to make the ice cream today? Was it easier than you thought or harder than you thought? What do you think? We're still shaking, so maybe it was a little harder than we thought it might be. I'm
Yeah,
not
it
sure.
might take a little longer. If you guys get too tired, remember, it'll still taste like ice cream at least. It tastes really good, even if it's a little too liquidy. But if you keep shaking, it'll get harder.
Liam, you added chocolate syrup to yours instead of vanilla extract. How did that turn out? Did it work? You'll need to unmute yourself.
There we go. It's not frozen yet.
It's not frozen. Do you think that's because of the extra liquid or just because we need to keep shaking?
What do you think? Keep shaking?
Oh no.
Keep shaking?
No.
I think we need to keep shaking.
Cool. Vivian commented that it was maybe a little harder to start with cubes in the bag rather than crushed ice. So that's a good point. Maybe you could start with some smaller piece of ice so they melt faster.
Yeah. If you are having trouble with cubes, you could add more salt. Just think of it how we put salt on the road in the winter. We do that so that the ice melts, right? So the more salt you'll add, the faster your ice will melt. And it's okay if your ice melts because it'll stay the same temperature as a liquid, and that's what we want. So maybe try that if you're having trouble with that.
Good work, everybody. I'm seeing, are folks tasting their ice cream now? Vivian, how did your ice cream turn out? Is it tasty?
Is it good? Okay.
That
so-
smile makes me think it's probably pretty good. Good work. That's awesome.
If you guys want to make this again at home, you can always go with bigger bags. So you can size it up with a gallon size bag and a quart size bag if you want more ice cream. This is only a little baggy, obviously. So you can adjust the recipe we had, do some math, and make a bigger batch of ice cream.
So Galen asks, the outside of our big bag keeps dripping. Is there a hole in the bag or does it have to do with the salt? Do you have any thoughts on that, Sean?
Yeah, so it's more to do with the salt. I wouldn't say it's exactly because of salt. It's basically because your bag is cold and it's attracting condensation from the surrounding air. So there's actually nothing going through your plastic bag. And Galen, I don't think there's a hole in your bag. Otherwise, I think you'd see the ice cream dripping out. Hopefully that's not happening. Basically, there's little water droplets everywhere around you. You're not going to see them, but it's sort of how you'll see your car window fog up if it's really cold outside and it's really warm inside. You'll see the same effect. It basically has to do with the difference in temperature between one surface and another, or an exterior air and interior air. So in this case, the inside of your baggie and the outside. So to answer your question, no, it's neither the salt or the bag, actually. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, thank you all for making ice cream with us today. Does anyone have any last questions or comments? Anything they want to share? All right. Well, tomorrow at 10:30, you can join us again. We're going to be doing an activity with fingerprints. So we'll be able to examine our own fingerprints, which are all unique, and we can look at what makes them unique and do some different comparisons to other people's fingerprints in our home. So hopefully you'll join us then. And that's all. Thanks, Sean, for joining us today to help us make these delicious treats. Thanks, Sean.